Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories are from Entitled People. Story 1 today is by Go Away White Donut. Grandma tried to take my chair. I finished a workout and wanted to treat myself to happy hour because physical exertion means I can drink alcohol with no consequences. My happy hour bar, you know you have one, was hecka crowded, but I found a seat at the bar. About 2/3 of the way through my IPA, I realized I had to pee. As I took my sweet time deciding if it was really worth it getting up to use the bathroom, an entire family-sized family moved into the table beside me. I'm not totally sold on the logic of trying to find a table for 25 people at a popular bar during happy hour, but I sincerely applauded their optimism. Unfortunately, while they managed to manifest a table, they'd failed to ask the universe for an appropriate number of chairs. Grandma somehow got the short straw there. Although, given how she behaved, I'm not remotely shocked that she raised a family who would let the matriarch stand. Anyway, I finally decided that I could either give in and use the bathroom or embarrass myself, so I prepared to get up. I ordered another beer. I plopped a coaster on top of it. I left my phone beside my glass. I did a weird hand gesture at the bartender who gave me a thumbs up. Short of putting a cardboard cutout of myself in my seat, I could not have made it any more clearer that I was planning on returning. I leave with a sense of nervousness, though, and relieved myself as quickly as I could without alarming my bladder. Not fast enough, though. I returned to see Grandma moving my seat. Like standing there with her hands on my chair, starting to pick it up and move it to her table. "Hi, excuse me, that's my seat," I exclaimed in my best customer service voice. She looked at me. "I don't have a chair." I told her I'm sorry about that. I was not, but I was currently using the one in her hands, so she'd have to find a different solution. "I don't have a chair," she repeated. So I got into Groundhog Day mode too. Then she shifted. She didn't think I was coming back, so she assumed she could have my seat. I asked her what made her think I wasn't returning, the coaster over my beer, or my phone sitting beside my glass. Like, I would rather leave my arm behind than my phone, so let's stop lying, you lying liar face. Grandma's family just sat silently beside her, looking like they were praying for the meteor, which makes me think that Grandma tries to steal chairs on the regular. She repeated, "I don't have a chair." "No," I said, "you do not," and I took my chair from her hands and returned to my drink. This one is the kind of thing you want to say to people who are taking your chair. It doesn't matter if they're 90 years old and their family, for some reason, is depriving them of a chair. If they're the oldest person, most families are going to be like, "Oh, here, Grandma, let me give you my chair, and I'll try to find another one." It honestly makes me wonder if she's one of those decrepit old grandmothers who's like struggling to stand, kind of bent over, or if she's tall and regal like some of them are, but also not nice. The way this is written, I get the vibe that she's not super nice or well-liked. Regardless, I feel like I'm bound for eternal punishment for laughing at this one, but it is actually quite hilarious. Our next story today is by Me Hit Abel, 4724. She wanted me to be more mindful about something I have no control over. This happened a few years ago, but it still rankles a bit. I was a member of my city's community gym. Low cost, nothing fancy, but had a decent array of cardio machines and dumbbells. I used to frequently use one of the machines that was similar to an elliptical, but slightly more challenging. I'm not sure what it was called, and the gym only had 2 of these machines, and if it was available, I preferred to use the one next to the window. So my favorite machine had been slowly developing a squeaking noise, but it functioned fine, and the staff hadn't put an out-of-order sign on it or anything. One day, I was working out on this machine. I would usually stay on it for 30 to 45 minutes, and it was squeaking the whole time. But whatever, it's a gym, not a church, and everyone is wearing headphones anyway. I finished my workout, and as I was walking towards the exit, a woman on one of the ellipticals turned around and said to me, "Could you please be more mindful of the noise your machine is making?" I wish I had pushed back, but I'm not very assertive, and I just gaped at her and left. I told the front desk staff that someone had complained about me, and they said she was being ridiculous to think I had any control over the machine. The gym did eventually fix the squeaking. She basically was telling you don't work out on that machine, because it's going to make squeaking noises when you're on it anyway, which is absurd. If this woman was a reasonable person, she should have gone up to the front desk herself and said, "This machine over here near the window is making noise. Can you guys WD-40 it or tighten it or do something to make it stop squeaking?" The fact that she went off on you makes me think it's highly likely she's one of those gym people that goes there just to record herself, and she probably was on some sort of live stream. But to be fair, she didn't say it in a terribly rude way. There's just no reason that she should have said anything to a patron, not the people running the place. Our last story today is by Snoo Seagulls, 4821. It's another granny story. Entitled Neighbor asks for free Bougainvilleas. I cannot believe it. I have met a lot of entitled people, but never this entitled. It all started this morning. My parents love to plant flowers on their yard, from hibiscus to water lily. But their most prized and pride is definitely the Bougainvilleas. This morning, my mom went to water the plants and feed the koi fish. Enter my elderly neighbor, around 80 plus years old. They were having a conversation, and it goes like this. Entitled Neighbor: "Can I have your Bougainvilleas? 2 of them." Mom, confused. "As in cutting some to put in a vase?" "Sure." Entitled Neighbor: "No, I want to plant them in my yard." Mom: "I'm not sure if the plant can grow after cutting. I will ask a gardener's opinion. If I can cut it for you." Entitled Neighbor: "No need. Just dig out yours and put it in my yard. I have 2 empty holes and thought about your plant." Mom: "What?" Entitled Neighbor: "I like the red ones. When can you dig it up and put it in my yard?" Mom: "I just bought those. I cannot give you it yet because it's still in the process of growing." Entitled Neighbor: "Then let it grow in my yard. No need to wait for it to grow." Mom, frustrated: "Sorry, but no, if you want to, please go buy it at the plant shop." The neighbor kept insisting my mom, even dragging my dad to give it to him for free. When they would not budge, he kept cursing and left. So, out of curiosity, how many of you are like me, and when you were reading this and you heard that an 80-plus-year-old neighbor came over and then they subsequently wanted this person's flowers, how many of you thought it was a woman? Until they said at the very end, the neighbor kept insisting my mom, even dragging my dad, to give it to him for free. I was actually surprised, and I don't want to sound like I'm sexist or something, but I definitely thought it was an old lady to start. When you get older, I imagine some people have come to the point in their lives where they figure they can just ask for or do anything. What's the worst that can happen? It's not like you're going to be arrested. If they tell you no, the answer is no. And some people, as they get older, also lose their minds. So this guy might have just been losing his mind entirely. To ask for somebody's bougainvilleas, I never knew what a bougainvillea was until recently either, and maybe some of you can actually educate me about what they are. When I looked up the plant, there was a mix between them being kind of short and like a bush plant, and then there were people who had massive trees of them. They're usually pink or red, and they grow on top of walls. And they seem to be in like Mediterranean areas where they have that kind of stucco-colored building face. It was either Mediterranean buildings or it was Latin American. To me, it looked Mediterranean, but I'm not sure, and I actually don't know where they're native to. I'm going to end up doing a little bit more research after this, just to educate myself about what kind of flowers these are. Are they usually trees, or are they bushes, or do they grow and grow? Are they like viney type things? Is that why some of them are tall and some of them are super short? I'm sure someone out there has them. There is one set of comments that I wanted to share. First by Bamf 1701. Keep an eye out. There is a good chance that you are going to wake up to 2 holes in your flower bed. Under that by No Heat 7014. And the neighbor will have 2 new lovely bougainvilleas in their yard. That could happen, but their elderly neighbor is 80 plus years old. There's not a high chance that they'll dig these up and take them to their yard. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, Have a beautiful day.